one more vid since we're here. As you may or may not know, there are 3 little baby goats running around here. About 20 or so chickens. 4 ducks. All consuming grass. This stuff. No, they're not bushes. It's elephant grass. I wish we had some elephants, because damn, that's a lot of meat and blubber. But we don't. So, grass is the most abundant source of carbs on this planet that are not digested by human beings. I mean, some people say you could eat grass as starvation food, but I think I'd rather starve. I know this lady, and who was actually juicing this stuff and talking about how beneficial it is. Then her whole family got diarrhea, and well, could have predicted that one, right? Anyway, this is the most abundant source of food on the planet, source of carbohydrates that we cannot digest. But ruminant animals and other animals, but let's just talk about ruminant animals, they utilize it perfectly because they have the bacteria in their gut that turns these carbs, these sugars, to saturated fat and protein, I believe. So all these herbivores eat a diet high in saturated fats. Somehow it doesn't clog their arteries. Weird, no? I wonder what their cholesterol levels are. No, I don't. So, animals eat the grass, and because we can't eat the grass, we eat the animals, right? Makes perfect sense. Circle of life. Most abundant food source on the planet. Allowed for some very successful species to, well, become successful. And yeah, we've changed nature a little bit with agriculture and such, and we've allowed these species of ruminant animals that we eat to become some of the most successful species on planet Earth after us, dogs, and roaches. Livestock in general, right? Extremely successful, evolutionarily speaking. They ain't going nowhere. Unless the vegan holocaust happens, well then, you know, that's another thing. But it just makes perfect sense, right? It makes perfect sense. Once again, the most abundant source of nutrition on the planet that we cannot utilize, but we could feed these animals using this stuff that's cheap and it's everywhere. And then we could use these animals and the nutrition that they produce, right? They turn it into protein, saturated fat, cholesterol, all these vitamins, minerals, everything that we need is in the animal. It's in the milk, it's in the eggs. And they all eat it. While we can't. But people, vegans, want to disrupt this fact of nature, thinking that it's not going to have any, it's only going to have good repercussions. The results could only be positive. You want to alter reality. You want to alter nature, essentially. You want to change, completely rearrange the way the world works. And you think you're going to be able to keep your Mac computer running? Really? You think your car is going to be all right? You think the roof over your head, none of that is going to change? Is that what you think? Well, you're a fucking moron if that's what you think. You turn that upside down, everything is going to get turned upside down. Anyway, moving right along. I was at a birthday party the other day. Vegetarian birthday party. The mother of the kid whose birthday it was is a vegetarian. And I presume that the majority of the people at this party were vegan, vegetarian, in general, not meat friendly. There were some people there that I know well enough to know that they are meat eaters. But we're at a park, poolside, under the trees, in a gazebo, picnic table full of all kinds of beautiful looking food. Nobody brought a grill. I mean, come on. There's something wrong with that picture, right? You're at the park hanging out with some people on a hot, what is it, winter, summer? I don't care. Depends on what hemisphere you're in. What if you're on the equator? Well, technically, I guess it's winter here. Anyway, it's nice and warm. Sunny. Kids are swimming in the pool, whacking the piñata, right? Adults are sitting around the picnic table talking. No grill. That's odd, right? Isn't that odd? I thought it was. But not only was there no meat available, nobody asked. No one seemed perturbed or interested or curious. Needless to say, I didn't consume hardly any of the food. I did have some chocolate cake because I was assured that it contained milk and eggs, and it tasted like it. It tasted like chocolate cake's supposed to taste like, basically. I was a little bit curious about the jello, but the lady that made it said that she used plant gelatin. So I said pectin and no thank you. But be that as it may, as beautiful as this food might have looked with all the reds and greens, yellows and browns, even though it did inconspicuously conceal some animal products, I wasn't really into it, so for the most part I left it alone. I did have some chocolate cake because, well, it was my boy's birthday. Not like that, but you know what I mean. But then, as I was sitting down, chatting with some friends, walking around, I started people watching and noticing how most, not all, but the overwhelming majority of the men there were skinny, with sunken in chests, tiny, tiny arms, right? People, men maybe 4 inches taller than I, weighing maybe even less than what I weighed, right? 30 years old, wrinkles of a 50-year-old. A lot of women with no breasts. Maybe I saw half a butt cheek. And look, you could kind of understand the women because most of them there were mothers and with young kids that are literally sucking the life out of them, right? But that's kind of where I'm going with this. If you understand that that's what's happening, why don't you counteract that, right? And I don't know who was vegan, who was vegetarian exactly, but none of them seemed very meat friendly, right? And that's the general consensus among, I was just call them who they were, most of them. These new age hippies, right? Talking about Mother Earth, interested in the herbs and, you know, coca leaf, stuff like that. Everything being natural, right? Natural colors, natural fabrics. New age hippies. Not everybody there. If they're not vegan or vegetarian, they're definitely not meat friendly, and they are meat deficient. And it showed. It really showed. Even though you could kind of understand some of the women being depleted, what about all the men? just so skinny, like no muscle mass, just weak and frail looking. This isn't what we're supposed to look like, right? It was a little bit disturbing, I have to say, but my hope was restored in humanity when I sat down and talked to a friend who's had two babies. They're still young children. And she recognized that she had been much depleted by all that. And she's into nutrition and was curious about the way I eat and, wants to eat more liver, wants to try high liver. Was asking me about, where to get good meat or butter or whatever, stuff like that. But it seems like the health issues, if you will, or concerns that she may have had were shared by a lot of the women there and men, obviously, but obviously not because of the same reasons. And it just seemed like most people didn't give a shit. Like they think that it's normal to be frail and weak. Like everything is a-okay as long as, you get enough of these colorful plants in you, then that just means you're healthy, right? Because, well, as long as you're not fat, right, then I guess you're healthy. Hell no, man. I was going to take some video at the party, but I don't know. I felt like I would have wanted to ask people's permission first, so I didn't. And even as I was discussing eating, mostly meat, nothing but meat, animal products with my friend, I was still kind of lurking over my back to make sure I didn't offend anybody. It's crazy, man. It's sad how there are these people who think that they're so connected to Mother Earth. They're so natural, right? Doing everything the right way, running away from, because most of these people there were immigrants, even if from Latin American countries and mostly Hispano-hablantes. A lot of the people in this area, foreigners, they come here because it's, more natural. It's a way to get away from the big city. No one that lives here and is from that demographic really enjoys going to the city, to like do paperwork or shopping, stuff like that. They like to be close to, once again, Mother Earth. A lot of them have their own gardens and they're generally think that they're in touch with how, with nature and how it should be. But at the same time, they completely reject their nature. The fact that they're carnivores, that they're supposed to eat these animals, right? So it was a little bit disturbing seeing all these frail men and these depleted women. The children, they looked all great, but hey, they're still drinking milk or just stopped drinking milk, right? So the kids, they looked great. But there was obviously at the cost of a lot of the mothers there. They literally drank the life out of these poor women who don't understand what they're supposed to do to maintain a certain physique, which is obviously a sign of health. You know what I mean? One of them. So I just saw that as really kind of pathetic in a way, but also very interesting. This duality, this simultaneous acceptance and embracing of Mother Nature while completely rejecting your own nature or that aspect of Mother Nature. But there was a glimmer of hope there, and I got the high liver for you, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Just felt like sharing.